Hi, welcome to Talk Back Live, a show that gets you involved in live conversation and sports with Brian Camp on Sports Update, bringing you the latest developments in today's world of sports. And now here's your host, Frank Allan.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you in your different time zones around the world and across the country. Here we are once again. It's another Thursday. It's 8 p.m. on the East Coast. It's 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It's Friday morning in London at 1 a.m. and 9 a.m. in Tokyo, Japan. Hi, everybody. My name is Frank Allan, and here we are for another Thursday and another show called Talk Back Live. We're together each week at this particular time. We come to you live from New York City. That's where we originate. And those of you who have been around with us for the first time, you already know the protocol. We thank you so much for being along with us, and you come back again and again. New people come every week, I'm told. So therefore, I want to discuss this with you. We're here every Thursday at this time. And if you look at your clock, whatever time zone you're in, that's the time we come on in your area. And if you're here with us a second time in a row and a third time in a row, that would be great. We hope that that's the case, and we hope that happens. But anyway, if you're here for the very first time, we come here and you can be involved in the show too by joining in conversation. That's why we call it Talk Back Live. And all you have to do is use your keyboard, whether it's on your computer, whether it's on your telephone, or whether it's on your tablet, or any kind of device that you can watch us on. All you have to do is use your fingers, type it in, whatever you want to say. I'll see you right there on the big screen. We'll get you involved and we'll say hi, because I love to greet everyone personally. I really love to do that, but a lot of people don't want to get involved. They just want to sit back and watch the show, and I can understand that. But as long as you're out there, that's the most important thing. Now, depending on your time zone, you could be a lot of places. You could be at work right now. You could be coming home from work. You could be getting ready for bed. But if you're getting ready for bed, stay up for the balance of the hour, then go to bed. We want you to continue to watch this show. Boy, we've got so much things to go around, and in conjunction with dealing with you on a personal level here on the show, we also have our regular routine too, because in just a few minutes from now, in this very half hour, Brian Camp, right out of Charlotte, North Carolina, is going to link up with us, and you'll get a chance to see him. He'll be here giving you the latest developments in today's world of sports. The name of his show is called Sports Update. That's in just a few minutes. And if you care to link up with him and talk to him about sports, maybe have any kind of questions, you can do that too. That's all in the package of communicating with us. And he'll have whatever sports questions that you may have. He'll answer those. And of course, we'll keep the show moving. And any other questions that you may have. Now, in case there's a particular topic that you want to relay and you want to talk about, you can do that too. Because as usual, I throw out the topic as the host, and then as we keep going along, you want to type in your thoughts or your opinions about anything, or there's a topic of today, or a topic of tomorrow, or a topic of next year. If you can reach out that far, we'll be able to discuss that with you. And it's all right here. And we talk about just about anything under the sun. So whatever you want to talk about, you do that. And even if you don't want to talk, even if you just want to say hi, hello, or whatever, we're here for you. And we have all of those things coming up. So we want to thank you again for being along with us on Talk Back Live. And keep the music going, and keep everything going. Keep the music going, as if I was a disc jockey. Well, I once was. Anyway, listen, all of the thoughts, all of the opinions, and all of the views and the opinions expressed on this show, Talk Back Live, does not necessarily reflect the view of the opinions of the people of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Zoom, or any other social media outlet or broadcast facility. So that means we could say whatever we want to say, just as long as it's in good taste, but we are responsible for everything that's said on here. But we make sure that we make sure to hold a responsibility and make sure not a lot of things that are not true, or things that are perverted, or anything that doesn't go on the show. It doesn't fit. Just so you'll know that it doesn't fit. You know how you listen to a lot of the shows on the air, right? They do a lot of cursing, and you know, it's social media, and I guess that's allowed. But I guess here I'm a little bit old-fashioned when it comes to that. So we don't do that here. We just have good, clean fun, because the reason why we do that, because it's a family show and we want everyone to get involved, everyone to watch. And those of you who have children that are watching the show, don't worry about it. It's all clean fun. And we talk about a lot of things, but make sure that you monitor them on when they come on social media. And don't forget, we come in 3 different areas. Forgot to mention that, right? We're on live right now on Facebook. We're also on YouTube, and we're also on Instagram. That's right. And you can choose whatever you want to do. And by the way, when sports come on, you'll get a chance to meet Brian. You'll get a chance to see him, except if you're watching us on Instagram, because Instagram, we're not set up that way technically to have a split screen or anything where you can see him, but you can hear him. You could hear him. And the other good thing is that even though you're watching us on Instagram, you could still communicate with Brian, and you could still, we'll see you. We'll see you. All you have to do is do that. So we have all of that good thing, all of those good things in store for you. And of course, we're going to take it right throughout the week. So many things to talk about. And do you know, we're still in the midst of Pride Month. We're coming on to the last stages because the month is almost over. You already know that, right? June, it's coming up pretty quick. And, the summer, by the way, is official. Talk about that in a minute. But Pride Month is underway right now. There was so many celebrations. And you know something, maybe you did know. So a lot of people didn't know it. Celebrations all over the place. Even at the White House, they had a celebration. They had a Pride Month celebration. And the President Joe Biden, had invited a lot of people, a lot of guests to come in and acknowledge Pride Month. I don't know if you saw this or not. Of course, it wasn't televised, but it was put out there. There was one lady that, they were all invited to the White House. Now, I don't know what her position was, or whether or not she was a member of the LGBTQ community, or she was just there to support Pride Month. But there was a scene, and there's a photo. I'm not going to show you the photo, but there was a photo of her taking off her top. And when she took off her top, of course, she's exposing whatever she has. And again, this is a family show. And so we don't show things like that. But this is what I saw. I saw it on social media. And, I guess they questioned her about it. I don't know if they questioned her about it, but you go to the White House. And one of the things I did have a problem with that. Let's celebrate in good fashion. Keep class going, and don't make it bad for other people. But she certainly took off her top, and she was exposing herself. And I don't know if the Secret Service people got on her about it. I don't know. Her only excuse is just that I'm just being myself. You can still be yourself, but you be yourself in good taste. And besides, ladies and gentlemen, you're at the White House. You got to remember that you're at the White House. You're in a sacred place. The place where the President of the United States resides. You're in the White House. And I thought that lady should have showed a little respect in that regard. But that was the thing that I had a problem with that, while everyone is celebrating in good taste. And she was the only one that just came out. And I don't know, is there a pool in the White House? As far as I know, there's not. So I don't think it was a pool party. But they do have a pool in the White House. It's just indoors, which I think President Roosevelt built when he was in office those many years ago. But I think that pool is still there. But it wasn't that. It was just that they were celebrating, and I guess she wanted to really celebrate it in her own little way, which, I was just opposed to that. But anyway, people are celebrating, and just for the rest of the month, keep Pride Month clean. Just keep it clean. Let everyone celebrate their own little way, but do it in a little class. That's all we ask you to do. Okay, just in case you're just joining us, it's now 9 minutes past the hour. And in case you're just joining us this very moment, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live, and we're here to deliver all of the goods for you for the next hour, for this whole hour. We're here. Tell your family and friends. Now, if you're watching us on Facebook, take the time to tag all of your friends. Maybe not all of them, because I know you have like an abundance of them, and you may not have time to to tag them all, but maybe a selective few, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, but the more the merrier. And you can do that. Just tag this show to them. They'll see that notification up there. And what they'll do, they'll just come right on in. Right? They'll just come right on in. They'll see that the notifications from you, they'll come right on in, and they'll see you, they'll see me and others here as well. So take the time to do that. And if you're watching us on YouTube, take the time, as I always say, to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, I'll give you the benefits of that. To do that is when you take your little mouse right there, every computer has a mouse, take the mouse, you scroll all over to where it says subscribe, press that button, and you're automatically in. It's free of charge. We don't ask for any money, no donations or anything like that. It's just that that'll give you an opportunity to know that whenever we go on live or post a video or any sort, and if you happen to be online when that happens and you forget about the show that's coming on, it reminds you. That notification pops up. And what you do is click onto that notification and it takes you directly to the YouTube channel and you can watch the show. And that's it. Now, what about you guys who are watching us on Instagram? All you have to do is just keep following us. Just follow us each week and tell your family and friends. Keep the word percolating about the show that we're on the air, and we invite people one and all. And if you're under 18, well, you might want to stay away unless, of course, you are monitored by your family, by an adult, by a responsible adult. You know, we don't encourage people under 18 to watch the show, even though the show is a clean show and it's a family show. But, you know, in social media, when it comes to social media, parents need to monitor their children and make sure that they're on the right places on the internet and don't go. And I think all of them are like that. You know, you want to make sure that they're 18 and over, you know. But if you have a family and they're all underage, you're right there monitoring with them, watching with them, that's okay too. Okay, in the news today, of course, you've heard that was big news. You know, like there were 5 people were on board the Titan how do you pronounce that? Submersible. All right, I'll explain what that means. Anyway, and they lost control and they lost contact with the mother ship. All right, now they were going to witness and explore the Titanic, right? And doing the dive to the Titanic wreckage site, they got there and they lost all communications with the mothership. Now, let me explain something to you. Now, if they were on, let's say, a submarine, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have been a problem, because the difference between a submarine and a submersible, the difference between those two is that a submarine is equipped with everything that's needed to make a voyage safe, such as this Titanic voyage, this Titanic wreckage and discovery, or, you know, they want to explore it. To explore, you have to have all of that great equipment, and a submarine provides everything mechanically and everything. There's a lot of oxygen, everything is supplied, everything that's needed is already supplied, compared to a submersible. Compared to that is a small version of a submarine. Now, with that, they can't complete a voyage or make the trips as a submarine does, because they're with limited amount of fuel, a limited amount of equipment, and it's not an air supply as well. And so they have to have a mothership to provide them with all of that, to take them out there, to launch them out there, and to bring them back. Again, they lost all of the communications with the mothership over the weekend. And, you know, as time went on, they were losing a lot of mechanical abilities and air. and they just perished. There were five men explorers. One of them 19 years old, and they all passed away. You heard that. We got the news today. They all passed away, and so we lost them. And so they were exploring and watching the Titanic, which, by the way, that Titanic sunk in the ocean in 1912. 1912 was the year when it sunk in the ocean. And that was like 111 years ago. And so that's sad news. So we want to send out all of our condolences to all of the family members of the people who were involved in the wreckage. And we want to pray for them. It was a sad day for all of that. So we pray for all of them, all of the people too. Right now, let's go over to Charlotte, North Carolina. Brian is out there right now, and he's here each week at this time with the latest developments in today's world of sports. There he is.
You know, I was following this story on Sunday about this small ship. You call it whatever you want. It's a small sub, and it's not that as big as a van. That's how big it is. And after a while, oxygen is being lost and everything. And it was really, you know, something to really think about. Wow, you 13,000 feet below takes an hour or two to get down to the bottom to where the Titanic is at. Many of you have know the story or even watched the movie of the Titanic. Is really something. And it was an implosion. The implosion is the opposite of explosion. Explosion is what you blow out. Implosion is when everything is sucked in, and you know, after a while you don't have any air. And it looked very grim after a while yesterday when it said it's going to take a certain amount of time to get them to get down there, and then a certain amount of time to get back up to the surface. And time was being wasted, running out. And our prayers to 5 people. It was just very, very sad and everything. Something went wrong. Hopefully we will find out soon about what happened.
Wrong that they lost communication with the mothership, because as I explained, compared to a submarine has all of the equipment needed to combat a voyage like that. But in a case like this thing was, like you say, it's the size of a van with one window, and 5 of them are cramped up in there. So when they lost that communication, they were just floating out there.
Yeah.
Floating out there.
Yeah. It's very, really sad. Hopefully we could find out the exact reason in the upcoming days or maybe weeks of what happened with the loss of communication. Mm-hmm. And prayers go out to the family, but it's really tough to really deal with. I've been following a lot the last couple of days, and one of the stepson of the billionaire chose to go to a concert. I'm not quite sure what was that about. There's 2 sides to every story. I haven't heard his side of the story, but apparently he chose to go to a concert, and sad, very, very, very sad.
One of the men that were on board, and God bless his wife. He's gone. His wife's relatives, 2 of them, were on the Titanic when it sunk.
Wow. Yeah.
And something, the thing that I'm shocked about is that was like over 111 years ago. And still you see parts of the Titanic still down there, and I'm wondering, wow, all of those years, with the water, because water tends to erode things quickly, and those parts, some is gone, but still some of those parts are there after 111 years. Wow.
Yeah. Something similar to in Hawaii, Pearl Harbor. I was able to experience Hawaii twice, and went down to the Pearl Harbor area where ships are still, to this very day, is still down in the harbor. And they will now use it as a burial plot a lot of the, I don't know how many World War II veterans are left in the world. Last I counted was like 6 throughout the whole world.
Yeah.
It's probably none now. And when I went to both occasions, the USS Arizona, you could see it. You could actually see it from above, and you could see it up close. You could see the oil in the water. You know, you ever see oil and water?
Yeah.
You see how it looks. It's still coming out. And they said when I went 10 years ago, they said for the next 20 to 25 years, oil will still be seeping out of those couple of ships that's still down there. And a lot of the veterans who was there on that day before they died, they said they wanted to be buried with their brethren.
Yeah.
So you have soldiers, U.S. soldiers, that decided that when they did pass away, who did survive, they wanted to be buried down there with their brethren by cremation or by whatever. It's an eerie sight. I went there. I urge anybody that goes to Hawaii, that is the must thing you have to see, is go by the Pearl Harbor site. I learned more about Pearl Harbor on that day than I did any time of my life going to grade school. Because they give you a whole tour, they give you the history, how it started, how it led up to it. And when you're there, when I say it's an eerie feeling, it's an eerie feeling. There's 2 places I wanted to go. One of them was Pearl Harbor, and I wanted to go to Africa, where there's I forget what part of Africa it is, where's the door of no return. And you can hear the echoing, according to what stories was told to me, of slaves going through the door and on into the ocean and into the boat, never to return. And those are eerie feelings. And I wanted to experience those 2. I was experienced one. So I wanted to, hopefully, before I leave this earth, I wanted to experience that. So,
well, as far as Titanic and the Titan, this is a place that goes down in history. Yeah. I mean, you could tell me history, but I love history. Whenever I go away, I got to learn about other people's cultures, how they live. I think it's so amazing. Yeah. So, but we're back here in the United States. Good evening to you all, to everybody out there that's listening. It is 74 degrees. Finally, since Monday to now, it stopped raining an hour ago. It has stopped raining. It's been raining nonstop, a little off and on, a little sprinkle, and a downpour. It finally stopped an hour ago. It's going to resume tomorrow morning around 11 o'clock, but we've been having rain. And I never slept so beautifully during the daytime. That's the best time to sleep, is when it's raining, it's cloudy, it's dreary, and you can watch Netflix, you can watch Prime Video, you can watch anything you want, but it's the best rest that you could get. But now it stopped. So for the time being, let me get to sports. Right now, as we speak, the NBA draft for 2023 is on. It's on ESPN Plus, ESPN, and ABC. It started at 8 o'clock, and when you get a chance, you check out for your teams who they selected for the draft in round 1. So that's what we have, the NBA draft. Major League Baseball had a bus driver transporting the Pittsburgh Pirates. The bus driver was charged with a DUI. The trip began in Chicago to Milwaukee. That's that far apart. Police escort noticed that an erratic driver, and put a stop to the ride. The police caught them, had them stop. The driver of Shelby, North Carolina, in this state here in North Carolina, displayed multiple signs of impairment and was arrested after a state trooper initially requested an ambulance. He was not affiliated with the team, but he was contracted by the Pirates. You don't have to be an employee of a baseball team, but sometimes teams, they would want to rent out or contract a bus company, and he was arrested. No further things were else added.
Tennis news. I got some tennis news. Two tennis players, Nastia Kola and Alexandra Riley, were banned from the sport for life and was fined as part of a match-fixing case. They committed 25 offenses from 2015 to 2020 and was fined a total of $175,000. It's amazing. Now, Riley, 32, is an American, committed 15 offenses, 15 out of the 32. In the same period, was fined $50,000. The penalties reflected of depth and significance of these breaches, which include contriving aspects of matches, wagering, facilitation, wagering, court-siding, conspiracy, and failing to report corrupt approaches. So they're banned for life. These players are banned. They will never play tennis again. And sad news in the world of sports. This day in sports, June 22nd, 1874, game lawn tennis, we were just talking about tennis, was introduced by Welsh Major Walter Crompton Wingfield. Introduced a rubber ball to bounce on the grass. That's how tennis started. 1874. 1938, Joe Louis scores a stunning first-round knockout of German Max Schmeling at New York Yankee Stadium. That was in 1938. We used to have boxing matches outside. Then Yankee Stadium used to have a lot of them. The last one I recall was when Muhammad Ali fought Ken Norton. That was back in the early 70s. 1958, the game in Kansas City, the A's and the Boston Red Sox delayed for 29 minutes due to a tornado. They did resume play. 1961, Major League Baseball, Chicago Cubs, Ernie Banks ends his 717 consecutive games played streak. He played 717 games, but that's not the record. We all know who holds the record. That was by Cal Ripken. 1981, remember the famous John McEnroe? I know we're doing a lot of tennis today. John McEnroe, his famous words, "You cannot be serious." His rant was a first round win over Tom Gullickson at Wimbledon. You know, many of you know who was John McEnroe. He used to have these rants against the empires and used to belittle the empires and everything. You know, he would say, "You got to be kidding me. Are you serious?" Yeah, John McEnroe was something else back in his day, yes. 1982, Pete Rose hits his 3,772nd hit, moves past Hank Aaron into second place. 1987, Tom Terrific Seaver retires after the third try with the New York Mets. 1990, Billy Joel, yes, Billy Joel, the singer, performs a concert at, where else? Yankee Stadium, New York City. 1994, Ken Griffey Jr. breaks Babe Ruth's record for the most home runs by the end of June, 31. Birthdays. In 1903, Carl Hubbell, Major League Baseball Hall of Famer, born in Carthage, Missouri. 1947, NBA Pistol Pete Maravich, the guard, Hall of Fame, was born in Acapulco, Pennsylvania. Hope I'm saying that right. 1962, Clyde the Glide Drexler, NBA guard and broadcaster, was born in New Orleans, Louisiana. 1971, Kurt Warner, NFL Hall of Fame quarterback and Super Bowl MVP, was born in Burlington, Iowa. 1978, Champ Bailey, NFL Hall of Fame cornerback, was born in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Wow. And in weddings on this day, 1958, NBA forward Hall of Famer 23-year-old Elgin Baylor marries Ruby Saunders at Mount Olive Baptist Church in Washington, D.C. And ladies and gentlemen, that is sports on a week of rain, cloudiness, and dreary weather.
Don't remind me, because we got some on the horizon here in New York. I'm gonna
Listen, if you're not going anywhere, it's great to just stay home and get under the blanket and just enjoy yourself.
I don't know. I was thinking about since it's summer. By the way, the summer's officially on. The summer officially started Wednesday. So I'm just hoping that we don't get too many bad inclement weather like that. Especially where you get. I mean, where you come from, right? Yeah. It's like that rain when it comes down. It comes down.
It comes down.
Yeah,
it comes down. It comes down hard, but then it lets up. And then it starts again, so
yeah. Well, I don't think we can do too much complaining anyway. I don't know. All right, well, listen, I guess we'll catch you back here tomorrow then, right? Tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow, regular time, yes.
You got it. Okay, we'll be looking forward to seeing you then. Any final words?
No final words, just I'm glad it stopped raining so we could just have some good weather. Hopefully for the weekend we'll have better weather. We're scheduled to have better weather. So we'll see what happens.
We're going to work on it. Talk to you tomorrow. Take care.
Take care.
That's Brian Camp, ladies and gentlemen, with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. He's here each week at this time. And of course, love talking to him. If you have any questions about sports of any kind, all you have to do is just ask. You could have done that while he was there, and we would relay all of those questions to him. And you could still do it, even though he's not here, and then we could relay all of the information to him. And then tomorrow when he comes on the coffee hour tomorrow morning, you could still talk to him then. But anyway, we're talking to you. Thank you so much for being along with us. My name is Frank Allan. I'm going to be with you for the balance of the hour. The name of the show is called Talk Back Live. I want to say hello to the Angel of Music, Angel Carolyn Fields. I know Carolyn Fields. Carolyn Fields and I did radio a long time ago. So she's out there today checking us out. Hello, Carolyn. Nice to see you again. Anyway, we're going to be along, as I said, for the balance of the hour. And for those of you who are watching us on other sources, we're here on Facebook, we're on YouTube and Instagram. And we want to say hi to our friends on Instagram who popped in as well. We want to say howdy, howdy, howdy. A lot of people don't want to talk back. They just want to watch the show and sit back and relax. And that's okay, too. And again, you could take time right now as we speak. And please, I encourage you to do that. Tag the show to your friends if you're watching us on Facebook. I know you have a lot of them, and all you have to do is just tag them. They'll see the information, they'll see that location, they'll click on, and it brings them right to us, and they can watch us. And the rest of you who are watching again if you're watching us on YouTube, please take the time to subscribe to my YouTube channel. All you have to do is click on with your mouse where it says subscribe, and I'll pop you right on. It's free of charge, no money involved, no donations, nothing like that. And again, all of you guys on Instagram, all you have to do is just keep following us and just let the word percolate. Let everyone know that we're out here with you and for you. And again, thank you so much for being along with us. Okay, I think it's about that time, ladies and gentlemen, as we do each week. And by the way, before we go off the air today, I'm going to give you all of those movies, the movies that I always tell you about, the Turner Classic Movies, my pick of the week for your weekend. Because as Brian said, you may have weather in your area where it may not be suitable for you to go outdoor activities or anything like that, and you want to catch up on some old movies. Well, I have a few that I want to add to your bucket list of what to watch, and that's coming up later on in the show. But right now, let's get going. Here's another feature that we have. It's On This Day in History. On this day in history in 1939, Princess and future Queen Elizabeth meets future husband, Prince Philip of Greece. On this day in history in 1940, the first Dairy Queen restaurant opened in Joliet, I believe that's Joliet, Illinois. I hope I pronounced that right, Joliet, right? On this day in history in 1943, W.E.B. Du Bois becomes the first Black member of the National Institute of Letters. On this day in history in 1944, U.S. President Franklin Roosevelt signs the GI Bill of Rights. On this day in history in 1951, the Gene Rayburn and Dee Finch morning show premieres on NBC Radio. On this day in history in 1955, Walt Disney's animated film Lady and the Tramp was released. On this day in history in 1957, Kansas City stops using streetcars in its transit system. On this day in history in 1963, Little Stevie Wonder, at the age of 13, released his first single, Fingertips, and that was the first live non-studio recording to go #1 on the Billboard charts. On this day in history, 1970, President Richard Milhous Nixon, and I want to make this perfectly clear, he signs an extension of the 1965 Voting Rights Act that requires voting age of 18 in all federal, state, and local elections. And back in 1970, the Supreme Court ruled juries of less than 12 are constitutional. Also in 1970, WSWO TV, Channel 27 in Springfield, Ohio, an ABC station, suspends broadcasting for whatever reason. In 1971, Reprise Records released Blue, singer-songwriter Joni Mitchell's 4th studio album. Back in 1972, Man of La Mancha opens at the Beaumont Theater in New York City for 140 performances. Back in 1968, neo-Nazis call off plans to march in a Jewish community in Skokie, Illinois. In 1979, Little Richard quits rock and roll for the 2nd time for religious pursuits. And back in 1981, Mark David Chapman pleads guilty to killing former Beatle John Lennon. I remember that very well too. In 1982, Prince Charles and Princess Diana take their first newborn son, Prince William, home from the hospital. Back in 1985, Smuggler's Blues by Glenn Frey peaks at #12. In 1980, Nelson Mandela addresses the United Nations Special Committee Against Apartheid in New York and saying that nothing has occurred in South Africa to reverse the ANC's position. In the year 2015, South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley calls for the removal of the Confederate flag from the State House grounds in wake of killings in a Charleston church. Filmmaker Billy Wilder was born on this day in 1906, and he died March 27th in 2002 at the age of 95 from pneumonia. In 1922, Bill Blass, American fashion designer, born in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He passed away in 2002. In 1936, country singer and actor Chris Christopherson was born in Brownsville, Texas. He's 87 years old today. In 1949, singer Allan Osmond of the Osmond Brothers was born in Ogden, Utah. He's 74 years old today. And U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren was born on this day in 1949, and she was born in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. She's 74 years old today. In 1949, actress Lindsay Wagner, who was the Bionic Woman, was born in Los Angeles, California on this day. She's 74. Actress Meryl Streep was born on this day in 1949. She was born in Summit, New Jersey, and she's 74 years old today as well. Singer Cyndi Lauper was born on this day in 1953 in New York City. She's 70 years old today. In 1954, comedian and actor Freddie Prinze of Chico and the Man was born in New York City, and he died in 1977. In 1960, actress Tracy Pollitt of Family Ties was born in New York City. She's 63 years old today. In 1965, actress Lana Turner weds her sixth husband, movie producer Robert P. Eaton. And they were wed in Arlington, Virginia, and they got divorced in 1969. In 1985, actress Gloria Principal of Dallas weds a plastic surgeon by the name of Harry Glassman, also in Dallas. How do you like that? What a coincidence that is. 2003, actor Adam Sandler weds actress model Jackie Tilton at Malibu, California. In 2011, actor Daniel Craig weds film and theater actress Rachel Weisz in New York City. Actress singer Judy Garland died on this day in 1969 at the age of 47 years old. She was born June 10th in 1922 in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. Fred Astaire died on this day in 1988. No, he didn't. He died in 1987. I'm sorry. He was 88 years old when he died. And the cause of his death was pneumonia. And he was born May 10th in 1899. And his birthplace was Omaha, Nebraska. In 1988, singer-actor Dennis Day of the Jack Benny program dies of ALS at the age of 72 years old. In 1993, First Lady Pat Nixon dies of lung cancer. She was 81 years old. And finally, comedian actor George Carlin dies of cardiac failure at the age of 71 years old. And that's this day in history. If you have any knowledge of anything that happened on this day in history that I didn't mention or I know about and you know about it, please let us know. Do it live right now. Type it in. I'll see you right there on the big screen. And of course, I will announce it as well. Okay, you're just joining us for the first time, or are you just joining us at this particular moment? Well, shame on you, because you missed a lot. The show is almost over. We've got 20 minutes in the show. And the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. And my name is Frank Allan. I'm your host of the show as usual. And we're going to be here, as I said, to the top of the hour and bringing you all kinds of information. We already had sports. And as I said, not too far away, I'm going to give you all that information about the movies that I pick each week, just for your pleasure, just in case you want to catch up on some movies or anything like that. Of course, I want to add movies that I have, my picks of the week. I want to add those to your bucket list of what to watch. Now, I always say to all of you guys, I love hearing from you. I love when you talk to me and I can acknowledge you, and I love to acknowledge you personally. But for those of you who are kind of shy in that area, and you would like to get in touch with me anyway, of course, I have information how you can do so. I have 2 sources, and you can do that anytime you want. I have an email address and a telephone number. So I am going to start with the email address first. The email address is frankallanprod@aol.com. Frank Allan. Allan is spelled A-L-L-A-N. That's an important factor because some people do E-N and you'll never get in touch with me. That's A-L-L-A-N. Prod, P-R-O-D. That's short for productions. That's frankallanprod@aol.com. That's frankallanprod@aol.com. Or you can call me at 641-715-3900, extension 467134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467134. Now, when you contact us, you can contact us for various reasons. You can contact and say, hey, I watched the show, but I think I'd like to add this. Maybe you can do this. Maybe you can do that. Maybe you could have guests on your show, or maybe you want to have a new act on the show. Maybe you can invite me on the show, or whatever it is, I take everything into consideration, and all you have to do is do that. And maybe there's something that, of course, you want to critique the show. You can do that too. We're pretty thick skin around here, so we don't mind. Just be nice about it. Just be diplomatic about it. That's all we ask. And you can do that. And again, you can do that by phoning us too. If you want to call, we're open. Email, phone number, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year, 24 hours a day. As I said that, right? You can do it anytime you want. And you can leave a message. And if you need someone to get back to you, of course, we'll have that arranged for you. Again, so let me give you that information again. We'll start with the email address once again. It's frankallanprod@aol.com. That's frankallanprod@aol.com. Or call me at 641-715-3900, extension 467134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467134. They always tell me, if you have something to say, or if you're thinking about something that maybe you're in a dilemma or something, they say chew on it. So I'm going to chew on it. These are one of my favorite Twizzlers. I love them. My doctor could only see me now. I told you to stay away from that sugar. Jeez. I break the rules every now and then. We all do break the rules. Sometimes we eat things that we shouldn't. We drink things that we shouldn't. We do it once in a while. It's all right to break the rules, just don't be too excessive about it. Don't do it all the time. Do everything in moderation. Whenever I go to the doctor, my doctor says, well, how's your diet going on? How are you doing? As if I need a diet, right? But I know what he means. I said, in moderation, right, Doc? He says, right, in moderation. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you already know that, as I mentioned earlier, summer is officially here. It started officially just Wednesday, and summer is going to linger on from yesterday until September 23rd. Now, there's a lot of things, of course, a lot of things that you may want to do, you may want to say, and you want summer on your side, and you look forward to that good weather. So there's a lot of things to do if you're living like in New York, where I live, or anywhere around the world. There's a lot of things to do. Of course, there's a lot of outdoor activities and a lot of street vendors at the street fairs and all that. All of those things are happening. And if you're with us in New York, we've got Coney Island, and we've got all kinds of places you can go and enjoy yourself. We only ask you that you do everything, take it easy, do everything cautiously, because you want to make sure that you get through the summer with no problem, because before you know it, the winter will be back. I don't want to even think about that just yet, because as you already know, if you're a regular viewer of this show, I've said it many times before, I am not a cold person kind of a person. I'm not a cold person. I'm not a cold person, and I'm not a cold kind of person. In other words, I don't like the cold weather. When the snow comes around, you can have my share of it. All you have to do is just give me a call or email me, and I'll ship it to you whenever that time comes. And I know some people that's on the opposite of what I am or who I am. They want they want the winter time, but they don't want the summertime. Well, I'll give you my share. You give me your share. How about that? Well, did you see, not that I actually saw it in real time, but I have to give props. I have to give props, and I really mean this sincerely. I have to give props to Brett Baer from Fox News. Did you see that interview? Now, I didn't see it in real time. So I kind of got the sources from other places where I saw some of the video, because this way it gives me some time to look at certain things. And then if I don't like whatever I see, I just bypass it. Anyway, he interviewed 345/666 Beast Incarnate. All right. Now, that's who he is to me. Okay. Now, if you don't know who that is, if you're here for the first time in the show, to you, that would be Donald Trump, who, by the way, wants to run for that office again. He wants to occupy the White House once again. Anyway, that interview that he did, I give my props to Brett Baer, because he was totally prepared when he did that interview. And when he did that interview, he had 345/666 Beast Incarnate sweating bullets. He was so nervous. I mean, you could see it. I mean, he tried to brush it off like he wasn't, but you could see it. And and as every interview that he does, he never really answers the question, and he refuses even now refuses to believe that he lost the election in 2020. And so when he said that, he told Brett, oh, I won by a lot. I won by a landslide. I won. And they took that away from me. And Brett stopped him in his tracks. He says, I'm sorry, but you lost the election. You lost the election. Brett is from Fox News. Now, I am not a fan of Fox News at all, but every once in a while, I'll turn on Fox News because I want to listen to everyone. I want to see everyone's opinion on anything. See what kind of slant they have on each opinion. I want to see how it goes. But I give my props to him. And you know something? When that fiasco at Fox, whenever that takes place, I don't know. I think Brett should go to another station. He was really good. And this is coming from a Fox host. And I'm talking about giving my props to a Fox host. And so congratulations, Brett. You really did a good job on that interview. Given what was given to you, you had to, donate your time. Well, actually, he didn't donate his time. He got paid for it, but he took his precious time to do that interview. And, he just had 345/666 Beast Incarnate, never says anything new, and he still believes that everything was stolen from him and everything is mine. And the documents with, and, as far as those documents are concerned, we already know that he took them. I mean, he said it, he confessed it, right? I took what I took. I took what I took, and I have the right, I have the right to do this. But the beat goes on every day. This is going to happen. I had a discussion with some person. I said, do you think he's going to go to jail? Because a lot of people don't believe that he's going to go to jail. Let me put it to you this way, the way I see it. The only way he can bail out of that, if he comes up with they come up with some kind of plea bargain for him. For instance, saying that, hey, you know something? We'll take everything that you did, we'll put it in one big package, and here's what we'll do to keep your behind out of jail. What we're going to do, we're going to offer you something. You make sure that you don't run for any office for the rest of your life, right off into the sunset, don't come back. Do you think he'll do it? I don't think he will. And another thing I don't think he's going to make president. He's not going to make president. Neither is any other Republican going to make president. And I'll tell you why. I'll give you an example on why I say that. For instance, you got people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert. Remember those two? Well, they went to a battle yesterday. They went to a verbal battle on the floor, on the House floor, just last night. All right, just last night on the House floor. And Marjorie Taylor Greene dropped the B-bomb on Lauren Boebert. Leave that to your imagination. I'm not going to say that word here. And so what I'm trying to say is that while these guys, not only are they attacking, as they would call them, the radical left or the Democrats, not only are they attacking them, they're eating their guts, they're also eating each other's guts. And the reason why I say that no Republican is ever going to go back into the White House until you straighten all of that out. Take out the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and all of those clowns, because this was a clown show just last night. And until you take care of that, they're going to lose that. And I'll tell you what else they're going to lose. After about a year and a half, right now, Kevin McCarthy, he's the House Speaker. But after that's all over, I think the Republicans are going to take that back, plus the Senate, unless things change for them. Now, I would like to see the real Republicans, and I'm not talking about these MAGA maggots. I'm not talking about the MAGA maggots with their maggot bowel movement. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the real the real Republicans of old, when, the last thing they thought about was the party and they put the country first. That's how it used to be in my day. That's how it used to be. But it's no longer that. And so they had that cat fight. And it just seems to me that Kevin McCarthy can't keep his little babies in line. And so while they're fighting each other, they're not a team anymore. And if you're not a team anymore, you can't win a game. So that's why I say I don't think the Republicans are going to get into the White House. And even though a lot of people say, Joe Biden, I don't know, I don't want to, Joe Biden, I don't think he's only going to be the one-term president. Now, I thought that myself when he first got in. I said, he's going to be a one-term president. But the way things look now, I believe that he's going to actually run again. We already know he's going to run again. We already know that, that's official. But I believe that he's going to be the president because Trump is not going to do it. and definitely not, what's the other guy's name? I can't even pronounce his last name because he can't pronounce his last name. You know who I'm talking about, right? And then you have, who else? You have Tim Scott. It's going to be a long road for the Republicans, a long road. And I got to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not enjoying all of this because I think it's a problem for all Americans that all of this happens. But I got to tell you one thing, I have plenty of popcorn and anything I want while I'm watching this clown show. And speaking of shows, ladies and gentlemen, to get off that topic and into something important, I want to tell you about those movies I always tell you about, that each week I have my picks of the week of movies that I think you might like, right? And I picked them because a lot of people do things on the weekends, and I know you do. You like to do other things on the weekend, right? And if you run into that inclement weather, or if you want to stay home, or maybe you do other things, or everything that you want to do for the weekend, but you want to make sure that part of that weekend is catching up on some old movies. Well, I have a few right now that I think you might like. So I'm going to add it to your bucket list of movies, and all from Turner Classic Movies, my picks of the week. Let's get started right now. Let's go back to 1962, a great year, the 60s, the swinging 60s, 1962. Whatever Happened to Baby Jane? That stars Betty Davis and Joan Crawford, and that's on Turner Classic Movies. You can check that out Friday. That's 9:45 p.m. Eastern. Everything that I give you here is Eastern because you're in a different time zone than I am. So I'm Eastern, you're Pacific or Central or Mountain. So I'm going to give you Eastern, and you just act accordingly. Also, I have A Star Is Born from 1954, starring Judy Garland and James Mason. It's also on Turner Classic Movies. And you can check that out. That's Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And that's a great musical, I think, of course, involving Judy Garland. There has to be a little music involved. Mr. Roberts from 1955, Henry Fonda, Jack Lemmon, and James Cagney. That's on Turner Classic Movies too. You can check out this Saturday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. And what a time to watch it in the afternoon, late in the afternoon. Here's something else that goes back a year behind this film. This is 1954 with Marlon Brando and Eva Marie Saint, and also Carl Malden. Name of this is called On the Waterfront. It's a classic movie, and that comes on Turner Classic Movies. That's Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And you like musicals? Here's another musical that I think you like. Calamity Jane from 1953, starring Doris Day and Howard Keel. That goes back to 1953 again, and that's on Turner Classic Movies. You can check that out Sunday at 8 a.m. Now, that may be too early for you. You could DVR all of these movies and watch them later at your own convenience, right? And that's 8 a.m. Eastern. Because why? You're checking out. You want to hang out in church on Sunday morning, right? All right, watch it on your way back. Here's something, a classic, finally, that I grew up with. This is not the original, but this is the one I grew up with. Imitation of Life from 1959, starring Lana Turner, John Gavin, and Sandra Dee. And what a movie it is. It's a touching movie, and it goes back to 1959. And that's on Turner Classic Movies. That's Sunday. You can watch that Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And of course, you can DVR that as well until you get back from church. All right. All of these great movies, I think you'll like. And you can go on Turner Classic Movies and check out others because there are more there. Maybe I didn't mention, not that I don't like them, only because of the fact these are my picks of the week, but you may find others that you may like. So check it out, go there. And of course, while you're there, you could also go there and check out other top-notch movies, the latest movies, pay-per-view movies, all of the networks are there. You can check all of those out. They're right there for you. And documentaries, the whole 9 yards, everything is right there. And so, of course, you want to check it out. So it's all right there on Turner Classic Movies. That's going to wrap it up for me, ladies and gentlemen. I enjoyed the show. I hope you have as well. I will be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. And the name of that show is called The Coffee Hour. I'll be along with Brian Camp with more of the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. I hope you will be here too. We'll be here bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Other than that, you can check me back here next week at 8 p.m. Eastern for more of Talk Back Live. Of course, Brian Camp will be with me as well. And we'll have more sports. And of course, we'll have more conversations, and keep those cards and letters coming in. Email me or telephone me. It would be great. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a great morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
You've been watching Talk Back Live with your host, Frank Allan. The producer is Al Dale. Technical assistant, Dave Taylor. Research by Sandy Pierce. And I'm your announcer, Donna Stenke. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Talk Back Live.